Hi, I'm an old guy and I do maths. And here's a really good question. Do you choose a mean or a median to illustrate the center point of some data? And if you make the choice and the numbers turn out to be different, why do you choose one over the other? Why would the mean be a better as good an illustration of the center of some data as a median, and why sometimes would it not? And of course vice versa. So let's have a look at some data sets. So I've got 5 on this page, and we're just going to work through them. The first thing we're going to do is figure out the medians, and that's really easy. I set this up so that it would be easy. The median of each of these data sets is 3. The data is in order from smallest number to largest number, and we take the middle value. Now, let's see what happens when we start calculating means. So the mean of this set of data is 3. 15 divided by 5. So 15 over 5 equals 3. That's the mean. Now, I've changed one number. This will add to 16, and 16 divided by 5 is 3.2. Okay, so we can already see that this number and this number are diverging. But it's not a serious divergence. And it may well be that this is a pretty good illustration of where the real center point of this data is. But what you can see is that as this value increases, this value increases. So what it's doing is it's dragging the mean up with it. Okay, so let's have a look at this piece of data. And what have we got here? Well, 10 and 4 is 14, and 2, 16, and 4, 20. So we have 20 divided by 5, and that equals 4. Again, maybe 4 is, well, it's certainly a different view of what the center of this data is. And it's debatable whether 3 or 4 is the ideal. If you were talking about this data, what you might say is that the median is 3, but the mean is 4, and that would give someone an idea that there's a larger number out to the right of this data set. Okay, here's where it gets interesting, and we really get to have to make some decisions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 19. The median's 19. This adds up to 19, 20, 19, 20, 25, 29, 29 over 5, which is 5.8. 5.8. So what you can see is there's a trend of the mean increasing while the median stays the same. If I were asked what a good illustration of overall of the data here was, I'd probably use the median now. I'd probably start doing that. Because it looks to me that 19 is getting pretty close to being an outlier. In fact, 10 might be an outlier here, in which case it might be worth discounting, not including it in any discussion that we have about the center of the data. And an outlier is simply a number that doesn't belong. It's strange within the set of data. There's a video on how you find an outlier, and a more thorough definition of what that is. Okay, we get to this. 36 and 4 is 40. 43, 46. The median is still 3, and we've got 46 over 5 to get our mean. That is 9.2. Okay, this is starting to get a little odd. There's no way that 9.2 is representative of anything very much here. It doesn't represent that. It certainly doesn't represent any of these. So as the data gets dragged further and further in one direction, it's probably safer to use a median. Now, in real life, where you see this happen all the time is something like real estate values. So there might be 5 houses in a town that sell for, well, let's pick a number from thin air, we'll say $100,000. And then there's a waterfront mansion that sells for $4.5 million. Well, really, what is representative of the house sales in that town? Well, the 4 houses that sold for 100,000 are probably more representative, because if you work out the mean, it's going to be in the millions. And if somebody were to ring up a real estate agent and ask what's the average price in this town on this day, they might wind up with a very discouraging number, which doesn't actually portray the true position. And what we're trying to do in all of these measures of the center of groups of data is try and give some indication of what the true position is. So, what's a rule? The crazier this number looks, the more you tend towards using a median. Short and simple. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.